Ever wondered how money got started? Not the coins in your pocket or the notes in your wallet, but the idea of money itself, and how humans figured out a way to trade value. Today, we're going to take a journey through the history of money, barter, gold, cash, and show how it connects all the players in an economy: governments, banks, businesses, and workers. Let's start at the beginning. Barter, the first currency. Before money existed, people exchanged goods directly. This is called barter. Imagine a farmer with chickens who needs a new pair of shoes. To get those shoes, he has to find a shoemaker who wants chickens. This is called a double coincidence of wants. Pretty tricky, right? And splitting goods was hard too. How do you divide a cow fairly if you only need half of its value? Barter wasn't just a local thing. It happened all over the world. In ancient Mesopotamia, around 3000 BCE, farmers traded barley for cloth and livestock for tools. In medieval Europe, peasants often paid rent to lords with crops, eggs, or labor. In colonial America, in Virginia, tobacco actually became a kind of currency. Even governments, yes, kings, collected taxes in goods. Farmers would give grain to the pharaohs in Egypt, who stored it in massive granaries. And that grain? It became the payment for workers building pyramids. In the Roman Empire, taxes came in wheat, wine, and olive oil, which were then redistributed to soldiers as wages. In medieval England, people gave 1/10 of their harvest to the church and lords, a system called the tithe. In the Inca Empire, citizens paid taxes through labor on state projects, known as the mita. Barter worked, but it had obvious limits. You couldn't easily store value, make change, or trade across distances. That's where gold comes in. Gold, the first real money. Around 600 BCE, in ancient Lydia, people started minting the first standardized gold and silver coins. And suddenly, trade became easier. Gold worked because it had all the qualities people needed in money. Divisible, you could split it into smaller coins. Durable, it didn't rust or decay. Portable, a small amount carried huge value. Scarce, its limited supply kept it valuable. Universal, people everywhere recognized it. Governments quickly saw its advantages. In the Roman Empire, soldiers were paid in gold or silver coins, called denarii, and taxes were collected in the same coins. This allowed trade across the vast empire. In medieval Europe, Florence minted gold florins, Venice minted ducats, and monarchs used coins to collect taxes. Goldsmiths, who stored gold safely, eventually became the first bankers, issuing receipts and lending money to people for a profit. At this point, the flow of money starts to look familiar. Governments collected taxes from businesses, workers, and banks. They paid soldiers and administrators. Businesses earned money for goods and services. Workers were paid for their labor. Banks lent money to governments, businesses, and workers, collecting interest. Gold didn't just solve the double coincidence problem. It created an entire economy where value could flow efficiently. Cash, the modern era. Fast forward a few centuries. Everything is about to change. Paper money emerges in China between the 7th and 11th centuries, and suddenly, value itself becomes portable, weightless, powerful in ways gold never was. But with this revolution came a new force, a new entity at the center of it all: the central bank. The modern economy isn't just trade anymore. It's a machine, a vast, pulsing network where trillions of dollars flow through invisible channels every single day. Here's how the machine works. The central bank, the heart of it all, creates money out of thin air. It does this by either giving money to the government or to commercial banks. The government, constantly spending, pays workers through wages, funds private businesses through contracts, and invests in public projects like infrastructure. At the same time, it pulls money back in through taxes from workers, businesses, and banks. Commercial banks lend money that doesn't fully exist yet and collect repayments. When you take a loan, it's entirely digital and only partially backed by real money. That money can be transferred to other banks, which record similar digital claims. If everyone tried to withdraw their deposits at once, the banks wouldn't have enough physical money to cover it. Firms are the wheels of production. They pay other businesses, compensate workers, service bank loans with interest, and pay corporate taxes. Workers receive wages, public workers from the government, private workers from businesses. They spend money, fueling the system. They also pay taxes, feeding money back into the government. The flow is simple and timeless. Money, whether chickens, gold, or digits on a screen, still moves among the same players: producers, workers, governments, and banks. The instruments change, the system grows to unimaginable scale. But the fundamental dance, it hasn't changed in thousands of years. Look at the numbers. $15 trillion in consumer spending, the lifeblood, the backbone of everything. $10 trillion in wages, the fuel that powers consumption. $6.9 trillion in government spending, shaping society itself. $4.1 trillion extracted in taxes, the pressure valve keeping the system stable. And $13 trillion in outstanding bank loans, money multiplied, magnified, created from trust alone. Though in 2024, only $345 billion was truly new. This is the machine. This is the modern economy. And you're inside it.